Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Excel Ireland live stream. If you are new to the channel, the purpose of this live stream that we are doing on this channel is to learn and master the data analytics tool, Microsoft Power BI, over the next 100 days. And today is day 20. So, if I just joined you for the first time and you've missed a couple of live stream, a couple of lessons, you can catch those live stream on the previous, you can catch those lessons on the previous live stream on the channel. So we've covered introduction to Power BI, introduction to DAX in Power BI, data visualization in Power BI. And we've also done some case study, which is analyzing customer churn in Power BI. So we're actually on a new course in the career track. We're actually following a career track on the DataCamp platform, which is the data analyst in Power BI on the DataCamp platform. So we're actually on a new course out of the career track, which is data preparation in Power BI, which is introduction to Power Query and how to use Power Query to import, extract, transform, and load your data set into Power BI before you begin analysis. Of course, you're going to do some cleaning in Power BI, which is generally data preparation phase of a data analytics journey. So basically, we've covered quite a lot. Do not forget to catch those on the previous live stream, and also the data set exercise files, Power BI files, all the data sets used on the live stream throughout the whole lessons is already linked under the YouTube description. Do make sure to check it out, download it, and practice along with me. So without further ado, let's get back to learning and welcome to day 20. So we are on data preparation in Power BI. If I just quickly go under the career track part of the whole course, just really quick there. Let me just show you what it looks like. That is coming up. So you can see we have the associate data analyst in SQL. We've covered that. And we're in the data analyst in Power BI. So after the data analyst in Power BI, the next goal is the data analyst in Python. So you want to make sure to subscribe right now, put on the notification bell, so you'll be the first to know when we start learning new concept or new topics on the channel. So let's open the data analyst in Power BI. We're actually 26% out of 100%. That's quite amazing. We're actually at 0% initially. Then we've moved a couple of steps. Baby steps, daily baby steps, that's the goal. Okay, so while that is coming up, let me just open my data sets. So you can see, so we've actually covered quite a lot. Let me just see our content. We've covered these first 4 courses. So you can catch those courses on the live stream. So we'll just continue from here. So we are in data preparation in Power BI, which is in this interactive Power BI course, you learn how to use the Power Query editor to transform and shape your data, and blah, blah, blah. So we've covered 2 chapters in this data preparation in Power BI. You can catch those lessons on that should be day 19, 18, and 17. Yeah, definitely. So let's continue the course from where we stopped. So we're on the 3rd chapter, which is transforming text in Power Query. So we've covered this profiling your data preview. So we're in data manipulation. So let's see if we can cover all of this in this live stream without wasting much time. So I'll just download this chapter 3, I think so. I'll download the chapter 3 slides and open it on the next screen on my desktop right here. So that is downloaded. Just a minute. So I've opened that right here on my screen. So without further ado, let's continue our lesson.
Hi there, my name is Maarten van den Broek and I'll be your guide for this part of the course. This chapter is all about transforming the data in your columns, whether it is numerical or text data. First, we'll focus on text data. You will often need to clean the text columns in your data before analysis, as they are prone to data entry errors as well as inconsistencies. Firstly, you should make sure your text columns don't have any obvious typos or incorrect values in them. This can be a little time-consuming to fix in Power Query, so it is better that you fix these errors in the source file if possible. Next, your data should be consistently formatted, meaning that you should not represent the same data point in more than one way, such as having the country column in your dataset have both USA as well as United States in it, since these are both referring to the same country. Likewise, make sure that you are using the same kind of capitalization for all the data points. This will prevent confusion and make the overall experience for you and your report users better. You should also remove all blank space that appears before and after your data, which sometimes appears when loading data from certain sources. The same can be said for punctuation and control characters, which are particularly common when loading data from older data sources and from the web. Finally, a general paradigm to follow is that each column should only represent one piece of information, so you might need to split or combine columns in your dataset to achieve this. Luckily for us, Power Query has many features dedicated to efficiently cleaning text columns, saving us a great deal of time and effort. These features can be found in the Transform ribbon in the Text section. Clicking on Format gives you different options for capitalization, as well as access to two of the most useful transformations when it comes to text data: Trim and Clean. These two transformations should generally be applied to every single text column in your dataset, since they can only positively affect your data. Trim will get rid of all trailing and leading whitespace, extra blank space before and after your data. If there is no trailing or leading whitespace, the data is left as is. Clean, on the other hand, will remove all control characters such as new lines or carriage returns from your data. Although this is less common than whitespace, it can still happen and affects how your data appears when it is loaded into Power BI. An important concept that is particularly relevant to text columns is one related to the specificity of data in your columns. To help us reach the optimal structure for analysis, we are sometimes required to split or merge columns in our dataset. When your data has columns which contain too many pieces of distinct information, it can become hard to analyze and make use of those columns. Therefore, it is almost always better to split that column into two or more columns that each contain a distinct piece of information. A good example of this is splitting an address field into building, street, city, country columns. Sometimes two or more columns in your dataset are more useful when they are combined. This is not a general rule, but will depend more on your analysis needs. A good example is combining first name and last name into a single name column. Let's try this out on our dataset and learn how useful the text transformations in Power Query can be.
Okay, so we've learned how to use some text-specific tools in Power BI in the Power Query editor. So let's practice and see what we can do with them. That is still loading, so it's coming up. So it's saying which text transformation should always be applied to the text columns in your data set. That should be trim and clean column. Yeah, that's quite easy. So you can always do with that. Okay, text transformation.
Let's explore some of the powerful features that Power Query has for manipulating text data. We're going to be working with the AdventureWorks dataset, looking at the customer table. There are 7 columns in this dataset, 5 of which are text columns. First things first, let's enable our column profile feature and column distribution feature so that we can see if there is anything sneaky going on in our dataset. It looks like there are unique customer names and customer IDs, so that's good news. If we take a look at the country region column, there seem to be 3 unique values in the top 1000 rows of the dataset. Let's enable profiling on the entire dataset so that we're able to get a more holistic view. Now there are 11 distinct country regions in the whole dataset. That's strange. We're pretty sure that there should be only 6 different countries. Let's investigate this further. We'll use the column profile feature here. Aha! There are several columns where the same country seems to appear as a separate record. I'm going to filter our column to only have these 4 values to see if I can identify why this is happening. I'll also remove duplicates so that we only get 4 records to compare between. Though they look exactly the same in the table, Power Query sees them as different values, otherwise they would have been removed in the Remove Duplicate step. We can find out if there is any trailing or leading whitespace or other control characters by counting the number of characters, including whitespace, in each record. First, let's duplicate the column, then head to Extract Length. We can see that the records have different lengths. The correct character length for United States should be 13, 12 letters and 1 space. So the culprit here must be trailing and leading whitespace as well as new line characters. Luckily for us, Power Query has 2 transformations designed to remove these 2 from our text columns, Trim and Clean. Let's apply them to the country column. Now our data is in much better shape, with trailing and leading whitespace removed. Let's remove the filter and remove duplicate steps to see the profile of our column after the changes. Perfect. Let's move to the State Province column. If we scroll through the value distribution, we can see that there are 2 different versions of New South Wales because one of them has a different capitalization. We'll use the capitalize first word transformation to make all data in this column have the same capitalization. We can see that our transformation was successful by comparing the number of records before and after the transformation. Lastly, let's change the customer column here to have the first name followed by the last name instead of how it is now. To do this, we'll use split column with comma as the delimiter. Now that we have split the columns, we can merge them back in the right order by selecting the second column first, then holding Ctrl and selecting the first column. Then click on the Merge Column transformation, selecting space as a delimiter. Perfect. Our manager is used to seeing the customer suffix attached to customer names to identify them as a customer, just in case there are any employees that have the same name as a customer. We can do this with the Add Suffix feature in Power Query. Great! Now you're ready to clean up and transform some text data yourself. This time, you'll work on the resellers table.
That's interesting. So let's practice. So the first instruction, we have a mini instruction right here. Just 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow, easy. Just a minute. So I'm moving to reading the instructions and following the guide. So the first one says trim and clean. So we are doing a trim and clean instruction task first. So it says you are now tasked with reviewing a data set containing all the resellers that Adventure Work Cycles sell to. So your manager wants to make sure that the data is clean before analyzing it. So you must first make sure that the business type and the reseller columns are well formatted and consistent. So open the Power Query editor and load the reseller data.xls from the file. So I've linked all data sets under the description and exercise files. So make sure to follow along. So I have to load the today we are loading the reseller data.xls. Okay. So we want to open a Power Query editor, probably a blank Power. Let me just load my Power BI desktop. So if I load my Power BI desktop, I'll just load the actual data sets for this task. So we just open a new report right here. So the next task is to go to get data. I can just click on Excel workbook right here. I open so we have to open the reseller. Okay, this is the right here. Let me just open that. So it contains sheet 1 and sheet 2. That's interesting. I could just preview sheet 1. This is what we have here. So select this. Let this so this table is empty. Probably the sheet 2 is empty. So we're working with sheet 1. Next is to just click on transform data. So it will jump to take us to the Power Query editor. Oh, this is not formatted well at all. This is a pretty messy data. So this table contains 6 columns and just 700 rows. We could actually change the profiling to see the whole data set. So you can see we only have just 700 rows here, but 6 columns. If you go back to the instruction, select all the columns in your data set, then trim and clean. So you just have to select all. So that's the first instruction. I could just select this column, go to the last part and hold shift on my keyboard. Ooh, this is not shift. Okay, let's see if I hold on control. Ooh. Then select the whole column by holding. Oh, my keyboard is not actually working. My Bluetooth keyboard is low, so I could see why. So select all columns just at once. Just select the first column, move to the last column, hold down shift, and boom, all the columns are selected automatically. So what we want to do, we want to transform, and say if you do a trim and clean, that should be trim. So it is going to trim text, and the last one is clean. Aha, I can see the data set is now well formatted. Interesting. So next is capitalize each word of the business type column. So we go to the business type column. So we want to only capitalize only the first letter. That is proper case. So under transform also, it should be capitalize each word right here. You can see we've done that. Super easy. So the next one is enable the column profile feature of the business type, I guess. If I go to column profile, you could see that value added reseller, warehouse, and specialty bike shop are the only 3 business type that we have in AdventureWorks. So everything looks good. So how many distinct business types are there in our data set? Just 3. Quite easy. So moving on to the next instruction, which is merge and extract length. So your manager has decided to implement a naming convention for reseller sales rep names, so they are easily distinguishable from Adventure Works' own sales reps. So your manager has decided to implement a naming convention for reseller sales reps names, so they are easily distinguishable. That's quite interesting. So they are easily distinguishable from Adventure Works' own sales reps. So your manager has also informed you that there is a limitation in the CRM software we are using that truncates any names with more than 24 characters. So he has asked you to verify the length of the longest name in the reseller dataset. Okay, so we didn't lose any progress. So let's continue with this reseller dataset. Yep, so I could just name it as the reseller dataset right here. Let me just switch off the column profile. Reseller. Let's rename the query. A minute. L1. 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 Oh, sorry. Right back here. Okay. So we are back on the resellers data. So I'll just rename the query to reseller data. You can actually just name it pretty well there for easy remembrance. So back to the instruction. So format the sales rep last name column as uppercase. So I want to format the sales reps last name column as uppercase. Sales rep last name. So we have that right here. So this is the first name, this is last name as uppercase. So let's go back to the transform tab of formats and let's give it uppercase. So we have all the names in uppercase in all the letters in those names as capital letter. So the next instruction says combine the sales rep first name and sales rep last name column without a delimiter and name the new column sales rep full name. So we want to combine them without any space in between them. So the first name, so I think the first one to come is the first name and last name. So we want to select the first name first, then shift last name and click on merge columns. So it's separator none, but you could actually name the, so you can choose either colon, comma, equal sign, space, or whatever. We want it to be merged together without any space between them. And the instruction save should give it sales rep full name. Sales rep full name. So that's the name of the new column. Click on OK. And we have a new column with the both name combined right here at the last. So when it's even merge, it's merge. You could actually add a new column, but the instruction usually says didn't say you should merge combine as new. Okay, but I like doing it this way. Let me just do it this way first. I'll cancel that step. So we are back with the full name. So this time I'm just going to go to add column and perform the same operation. So if I go to under, oh, the format option won't be available. So I have to make sure I do that under the transform tab. Oh, the merge column is available here. So I'm actually doing a merge. So you can see, I just call it sales rep full name. Wow. So we see have our both previous column and the new column. So I can actually just delete this column if I want. This two column, let me just leave it like that for now. So that doesn't look so I change the delimiter for the merge columns step to space. So you can actually go back to the apply step right here to these settings and edit what we did earlier. So I'll just make sure there's a space now. Click on OK and it's going to add a space, but we're still maintaining that apply step. It is not creating a new apply step. So the next thing we would like to do is to duplicate the sales rep full name column. So let's duplicate that column. So I could just sales rep full name column, I guess. So I just click on it like that. I'll just right click and duplicate column right here. So you can see full name copy. Okay, so making sense. So next thing I want to do is extract the length of all of the sales rep full name copy column, then rename the column to name length. Extract the length. So I think to do that, that will be in the transform section and extract length. So it's going to count the length of each character here. I think including the space. Let's see exactly including the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, including the space. So space is a character. Then we have to rename that column as name length. So I'll just double click and rename as name length. So name length there. So I think the next instruction now says sort the name length column in a descending order. So we could just sort it real quick, descending like that without stress. So from the highest to lowest. And the next instruction says, what is the length of the longest name in our data set? The longest name is 19. That is Mackenzie Alexandra. 19. Cool, we got that perfectly well. So this is the last split and add prefix. Last task we are performing here. So your manager wants you to analyze the geographical spread of our resellers. In order to do this, you will need to extract meaningful information from the location column present in your dataset. You will accomplish this with the split columns transformation in Power Query. Firstly, your manager wants you to convert the reseller key column into a unique reseller key column by adding a prefix to it that is unique across all data sets. So what prefix are we going to add to the reseller's location? So that's the context. So reseller key. So split the location column based on the commas. If I go back to the data set, we have location right here. So this is location. So we can actually split it based on the comma. We want to split it to Hamburg, Germany. Then there's a number after each location. Probably that is the area code or whatever. But quick minutes break. So right back here. So I want to split this. So if you just go to the transform or add column tab. But I also have this. I have the full name already. So I could just delete these two, remove columns. So it's not going to affect the full name column. To still be intact. So let's come to this location column and see what we can do. So the instruction says split the location column based on the commas. So we use the split feature here, split column by delimiter, by number of characters, by positions. So we're going to choose by delimiter. We're going to say comma, each occurrence of the delimiter. So how many delimiter do we have here? We have 1, 2. I think we have at least two delimiters, two commas. Okay. We didn't even state which delimiter. Based on the commas. So it's mentioned based on the commas. So that's the delimiter there. So let's do that real quick. So it has splitted the table, the column rather, into location 1, location 2, the location 3, the last part with each number or area code, I guess. So next part of the instruction, split the newly created location 3 column to split the country and the postal code. Okay, so that's the country and the postal code. Okay, so let's split this last part containing the country and the postal code. Split by delimiter. The delimiter should be dash custom colon comma equal sign. Let me just use custom. The custom by default it sees it is a custom delimiter. Each occurrence of the delimiter. Okay, let us leave because we only have one occurrence of the delimiter. So we have our area code, then the country part. Interesting. So rename the location column to the following: location 1 as city, state / region, country. Okay. So the first part here is the city. The second part here is the state / region. States of, just call it. So the third part is the country and postal code. So this is the country and this is the postal code. Postal code right there. So we've done all that to our text data. So the next instruction, replace the value of USA with United States in the country column. So if you look at the value of USA in the country column, we have some USA here, we have some United States. If you go to the view column profile feature, you can see there's United States, there's USA. So which also means the same thing. So we need to replace that. We'll go to transform. Let's replace values. I'll just replace USA with United States. So our data set looks clean. United States. Click OK. Boom, we've done that. If I go back to column profile, because now we have United States auto. So next instruction says trim and clean the country column. So the country column, probably it is dirty because I think there are some filling spaces here. Let's trim and clean. The first one is to trim. The second part is to clean and make it look. So the last part is add the prefix AW reseller to the reseller key column. AW reseller. What are the prefix to the reseller key column? So let's see that. Where do we do that? I think we are doing it here. So prefix. Want to add AW reseller. Oh, so we did that already. Add the prefix AW reseller. So we did that. So the prefix is, I think there's also a suffix. Suffix will be at the front. Let's see, we did that quite well. And finally, using the column profile feature, how many resellers are based in the United States? Oh, so I think we need to select the country column. Then come to the view column profile. We can't guess how many resellers are based in the United States, but we have to filter. So let's filter first. To do that, we need to filter to only United States. So it's going to show us all data from United States. Then you can click the column profile feature so that we have what 427 resellers in the United States. We have 427 here. Boom. So we got that perfectly well. That was quite a lot of tasks to do. And then we know that real quick. So we finish all the tasks with containing text data type. So we are moving to numerical data type on day 21 of the live stream, which is tomorrow. So we've covered a lot today. We need the next less than 37 minutes or 30 minutes. I think that's quite a lot today, a lot of learning. And I think we should stop here today. Alright, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. So if you found value in this video and you learned one or two new techniques with cleaning data in Power Query, do make sure to give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I go live on the next day of the live stream, which is tomorrow, day 21. And I'll see you on tomorrow's live stream. Also, don't forget the data set exercise files, Power BI files for you to practice along with me. I already linked under the YouTube description. Do make sure to download them and practice also. The goal is to practice and get our hands dirty as much as possible. And I'll see you on day 22, day 21. Yeah, that's tomorrow will be day 21. And I'll see you on the next video on the channel. Do make sure to catch up on all previous live stream of Power BI so you can follow along with me. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.